On an Impact episode, you got the chance to work with LAX,
Oh,
baby.
yeah, LAX.
BG and Kip James beat Lax via DQ. Christy Hemme came out to yell at VKM, but Hoyt came out and picked her up and carried her to the back. Fans
Hmm,
chanted DX rejects
that
at
rhymes
VKM.
too.
It
I think it
does.
sounds pretty good. We should have went with that.
And y'all were supposed to be the faces at this
Yeah,
time.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Actually, those chants led to other fans to chant for VKM. So it had that hot Cena like atmosphere.
Can I stop right there for a second?
I knew you was.
The
Huh?
fact that somebody typed anything in TNA was hot Cena-esque. I'm sorry, it's just not the case. I'm just
You
not the case.
you guys were Cena adjacent at least. You know what I
Well,
mean?
well, well,
VKM was Cena
we're like Cena's dad adjacent. We're like
adjacent.
from his indie role.
Right. Yeah. So okay, they say it's a hot Cena like atmosphere. Quote, a bunch of other Latino Nation guys hit the ring for the DQ.
What?
It seemed like on a constant, consistent basis to have a hard time getting anything to focus in TNA. Was it the fact that it was only a 1 hour TV show really hurting the company? Do you
I,
think they had too much talent?
mm.
Is
I
there
mean,
such a thing?
yeah. Look. I do think there's such a thing as too much talent, and I think it is. Kind of goes along with, okay, are we going to run live events, and if so, how many, and if we're going to do TVs, and you know what I mean. There's a lot to take into consideration when you're coming up with a talent roster and what that excuse me, what the number of talent's going to be. But yeah, so especially with a 1 hour weekly show, man, you could really do it with a real skeleton crew, to be quite honest with you. And so I don't think it was inconsistency. I think during this time, and I may be incorrect about this, but I think during this time it felt like there was a lot of turmoil in the upper echelon of TNA, so it might have been different ideas getting through and different people doing. You know what I mean? So it might have been uh, maybe not singularly focused creatively from that whole team. And so I'm just saying that because that's what it feels like looking back on it right now. I don't actually remember if this was one of those times where uh, Jeff was out and Dixie's in, or Dixie's in, so and Hogan's in, or what. You know what I mean? There was so many different things went on uh, during those first couple of years, the first decade really of TNA's existence. Excuse me.
Late October, you and Kip team with AJ and Tomko to take on LAX and Steiners. Shelly Martinez debuts to
Who?
help LAX give them the victory when Homicide hit you with a slapjack for the pin.
Oh, he
What do you
did
know about a
too.
slapjack?
I tell you what, Jack, it slaps.
Is that
I
is
don't.
that
Uh,
better or harder than a front rolling cradle?
it's the same. It's the
Oh, it's the
same.
same.
Yeah.
Did you you've hit on it. You loved working with Homicide and Hernandez.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could
Very
go.
cool.
Homicide had a reputation of not being happy when he didn't get his way, and Hernandez for being careless. Do you agree with that
Mm.
assessment?
I don't agree with either one of those. And look, I don't know. I never went and told them. Well, no, I did when I was a producer, and they never had a problem with any of the finishes we suggested or any of the matches we did. So I don't agree with that. I do see where the thinking is to say that Hernandez was reckless. Is that what the word you used? I don't want to use a word that wasn't used.
Hernandez was careless.
Careless, careless. And so I disagree with that. I think he was young and very strong. And so those are for an old dude, that's not a good that's not a good
Right.
combination because you're going to get hit hard and land hard. But I think that's probably where that came from was he was green and he was strong as a bull. You know what I mean? So sometimes if he got overexcited, you got over beat up. You know what I mean? So I could see where maybe somebody would say that, but I don't think they'd say it to his face.
No. There were
They'll type that son of a gun on a half-star
for sure.
typewriter, won't they?